what qualities do you think at this point, now you've got so much experience, that women entrepreneurs need specifically for sourcing venture?
First of all, I think there's skill and knowledge and a certain kind of work ethic and a process. So, I come from the CRM days, so I think in formulas, right? When it comes to skill, the skill of presenting, the skill of negotiating, the skill of positioning, critical, right? So, and those are very refined skills. I mean, this is not lightweight. And that's why at Asti and other places you can go learn how to pitch. The skill of presenting is non-trivial, right? The skill of negotiating, and you have to get comfortable with the terms too, which were I wasn't that familiar with them all, right? So I had to learn that, but I have good negotiating skill overall. So that's important. On the knowledge side, complete knowledge, of course, of the product you're representing. That goes without saying. But market knowledge and competitive knowledge, very important.
Yes.
So whatever it takes to fill that tank up, because the impact of your presenting comes from how you're presenting and the words and content, right? And if you don't have both of those, then you're going to miss the mark. Because they want someone that's not just an eloquent speaker, but speaks with confidence and competence. Competence meaning knowledge, so it's knowledge-based, right? And then I would say the tenacity and the resilience, I mean, that would be kind of the softer skills, but you can't teach someone that.
No.
You just can't.
It has to be innate.
And people say, well, you just got to hang it. No, you have to have a deep-seated passion, of course, but that passion has to translate into tenacity and resilience. When you're wondering what they're thinking and they're not really saying, and then they're all shaking their heads like birds pecking water, right? And you get happy ears, because in our case we were running out of money. Right? I mean, there's nothing worse.
It's a desperate.
It's a terrible feeling, and you don't want to share that because then you feel you're losing your ability to influence them. Right? And then on the process side, so there's skill, there's knowledge, there's kind of the whole human factors, resilience, energy, that piece. And then on the process side, really understanding how to pace, how, when to demo, how early, all the financials, the process of it is very important, because otherwise you can get ahead of yourself. And they can pull you that way, and then you think they're really interested when they're not. So there's a lot to it, and all of that while you're trying to run a business.
I know, it's not.
It's more than a full-time job.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So, in your opinion, what percentage of women would qualify then as regards having these qualities? And you've already said some of them can't be developed, that they have to be innate. But the other skills can be developed, I gather. And if so, what are your ideas about how this could happen? So,
well, first of all,
do you think most women would have these skills?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, if they've skills are acquirable. They're behaviors. So to say that someone can't have a skill, that's crazy. Because if you decide you need to have that skill, you go learn it. Right? Be it analytical skill, any of those skills. So let's just start with, I think the bigger question, or maybe the more important question, is inventory your skills. Okay? To see which of those skills you are strong in, right? And
very good.
And from there, decide who wants to be with you in this process.
Because you can't be all things.
That's right. That's right. So first, inventory the skills of presenting, of analyzing, of positioning. I think that's what I would say, because you have them if you're going to be in business. It's just how strong they are. And then the second is knowledge. You can acquire knowledge too. And you think, well, if you're going to be the CEO, or you're going to be a founder of something, you're going to have certain knowledge anyway. Well, you're going to have market knowledge and product knowledge, because that's inherent to building the business. But the competitive knowledge, you just have to go get it. And the go-to-market knowledge, you have to go get it. Right? So yes, you can acquire that. No excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
So no excuses on the skill side. It's just a matter of inventorying your strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
No excuses on the knowledge side, because you're not going to have a business if you're not going to get the knowledge.
Exactly.
I think the difference, the woolly parts, the ones up for grab, would be the tenacity,
Yes.
the resilience, kind of the work ethic.
Yes.
Because I don't think you can kind of make yourself work hard. I think you just do or don't.
And if we're looking at it through the lens about women, do you think that...
I think women are much more hardworking.
Yes.
Period. Full stop.
And the resilience and the tenacity?
And in fact, I will go so far as to say the guys who funded us, Azure Capital Partners, they are very experienced. They really come from an investment banking background. They've had their fund for 10 years. They were the original investors in VMware with Diane Green.
Right.
They love women entrepreneurs. Full stop.
Right.
And if you ask them, and you could, Cameron Lester or Mike, either one,
Yes.
they would say they feel like women do work harder.
Okay.
They are more resilient. They do feel like we have more to prove.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's not fun to admit that,
Yeah.
and maybe not all women do, but
Yeah.
I think some.
Yeah. A
And-
few people have actually said that in the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and you think, well, Wendy, what would you have to prove? Like, you've already built a business and sold a
Yeah.
business, you're financially independent. I'm not sure what I had to prove, but for me, the drive was to be more current and more relevant
Yes.
in this new world.
Yes.
Meaning in the social technology
Yes,
world,
yes.
in the world of online business,
Yes.
and new business models that have some connection to social technologies.
Yes.
I wanted to be more relevant,
Yes.
because I had been investing in those things.
Yes.
But my investments, I had one that was just amazing, Ustream, which was great, but the others weren't. Well, I could have, if I had been more knowledgeable,
Yes.
I wouldn't have made some of those investments.
Yes,
I
yeah.
wouldn't just have come behind someone to
Yes.
throw in my $50K for the sake of it.
Yes, yes.
So my drive was to be current and relevant,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
And to get my hands dirty,
Yes.
and to feel like I had helped a company and a team bring their assets to full potential.
Yes.
That's kind of my thing.
Yes,
Is
yes.
bringing assets to full potential. Human assets, IP assets, knowledge assets.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And
yes.
in these times where you can build a business much less expensively than you used to,
Yes.
and you can move much faster than you
Yes.
used to could,
Yes.
because of just the nature of the open source and
Yeah.
being online, it was just a perfect time for me to play that out.
Mm.
So I feel right now I'm completely in my sweet spot.
Yes. And I'm hearing that you agree that women actually have these abilities, and that really nothing should hold them back except their own
I think so.
attitudes. or
Yeah, their
minds.
own attitudes and just their own fears,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Some say that women may not be suitable for running startups due to the demands of their personal and family life, and that I've had that feedback both from men and women VCs.
Right.
How do you see this challenge, Wendy?
I think that's a real challenge. Now,
Okay.
I'm not speaking from experience. I have no children and I have no husband.
Yeah.
I have a dog, and I take good care of him,
Yeah.
right? But I have to make arrangements. But
Yes.
the work of building a company is really tough.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I do think when you've got children of any age or a partner that wants any attention,
Yes.
I mean, I have a pattern of not doing any of that well. I mean, when I'm in, I'm all in.
Yes.
And so in that way, I'm a workhorse,
Yes,
right? And
yeah.
even a workaholic.
Yes.
And I think the older I get, the harder that is, right?
Yes.
Because just of the stamina thing. But I
Yeah.
think for young women that are going into this, and yes, they do want children and do want a husband, I mean, I respect them for that.
Yes.
And so you're just going to have to pull it all together, because it's going to take a lot of management.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible.
No, and they do
You know,
say
but
that women are much better at
multitasking, and we are,
Yes.
right? And you know that, you can
Yes.
tell that. I mean, that's why
Yes.
you can cook dinner and
Yes.
you know make sure everyone's comfortable and
Yes.
walk the dog and blah blah blah
Yes.
and do your email at the same time.
Yes.
That's our blessing and our curse.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And it
Yes.
does wear us down. But to your question, I think if I were in my 20s and I just had a baby and I had this great husband, and we'd have to sit down and have a real serious powwow about it. Say, look, I want to go do this and it's going to be demanding, and you know, will you support me? I just think you need to be explicit about what's going to be required. That's all.
And so this might be, from our conversation, the only challenge that you see for women, because if we have all those abilities and we can develop all the skills, then really it's just that those
it's your
life
priority.
choice about
I think so.
family,
It's a
personal
it's a
life.
priority thing,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
And I think the wonderful thing about the female, there's so many wonderful things about the female gender, but
Yes.
you know, I think we're much better at pulsing in and out, right?
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, you know, you take a run, you take a 5-year chunk,
Yes.
and you say, look, you know, I'm in between movies. Let's pretend like I'm an actor, right?
Yeah.
I'm in between movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to go have my children,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I'm at the stage, either early or late. I
Yeah.
want to adopt them or have them.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break and do that
Yeah.
and come back.
Yeah.
And then when I come back, I'm going to start the next Google or the next Facebook.
Yes.
And then I'm going to take a pause because I want to go to, you know, Bali and do a meditation, you know, path. And then I want to come back and I'm going to be in politics, or then I'm going to come back and run a nonprofit. I think it seems to me, based on my observation
Yes.
of my friends, from 20-year-olds to 70-year-olds,
Yes.
that we feel more comfortable opting in and out over the life cycle of
Yes.
our career. And
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that makes us better at each stage.
Yes. Makes us more whole.
I think it makes us more whole. I think that gives us more ability to lead
Yeah.
because we have more empathy relative to where everyone else is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.